happy Saturday in the garden, and as you can see, it looks a little bit different than the last video. I just mowed this off, so you will see that is a fine mowing. Now, some might ask, well, how come you didn't crimp it? Well, one, I don't have a crimper, and two, it's already past the 20th of May, and I'd like to get my garden planted. And to be honest, this rye and crimson was starting to head out, but the rye was not quite at a dough stage. So I'm okay with this. I mean, obviously this being a garden, although it's quite large, I can really baby this. So I can add compost to areas where there might be a little bit of bare dirt. And I'm actually, what I'm going to do, and I started a little bit already, as you can see, I mean, the coverage I got is pretty darn good. You can see some leaf litter. You know, obviously, I mean, that just, it's going to act as a good weed mat. Now, it's going to feed the microbes too, without a doubt. I want to remind everybody too, I have clovers in here in a few different kinds. So as I put in tomatoes and peppers in perfect rows, I will plant I'll just scoot a little bit of this out of the road here, and I'll put a pepper or a tomato or cucumber, whatever I want to plant, and I'll put that back as good as I can and let that grow right there. And I'll do the next one and the next one. So this will work as a weed mat, excuse me. It'll also hold moisture. It's going to dry out. It's going to feed the microbes. The microbes are going to use this to, they're going to decompose this, right? This will become decomposed source for the food source for the microbes, as well as doing all of the other things that I mentioned, and helping to build topsoil through root exudates too. So that clover is going to continue to grow. So that will continue to feed the microbes through root exudates, as well as obviously my crop plants, such as the tomatoes, the peppers, zucchinis, etc. So they'll have some good diversity in here. And I'm also going to have some sunflowers in here as well. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do those yet. If I'm going to do them in between the rows, or if I'm just going to do them on the side this year, and then maybe rotate it back and forth in the future to add some diversity in the root structures there as well. So all in all, I just wanted to highlight this. I will tell you one other thing. So this was pretty high if you've seen the other videos. I mowed it on a higher setting first, and I made sure to mow opposite of each other. So I started blowing, because obviously the mower blows out this way first. It's not a flail mower, it's just a belly mower, so it blows out this way first, and then on the next pass I blew it back the other way, and then the next pass I blew it out this way, and then I reversed that. So I lowered it one more time to mulch it up just a little bit better. And the other thing too to mention, so then I blew it back the other way to get a good even spread. And the other thing to mention is this works because it is a diverse cover crop system. So if this was only in monoculture, it would not be as beneficial to just mow it off and quote unquote feed soil biology unless you have a diverse system here. So the reason this works well is because I have a rye grain, I have a clover, I have a hairy vetch, I had turnips in here, right? So there's a lot of diversity in that cover crop. So you have different levels of carbon to nitrogen ratios being trimmed off. So like the hairy vetch and the clover clippings are going to feed microbes really quickly. It's going to burn off. The rye straw is going to take quite a bit longer to dry out and then become food for the microbes because of that higher carbon to nitrogen ratio. So that's kind of where it all balances out. It's quite kind of important to take note of that. So when you're feeding your microbes, you don't want it to just be a short burst of food, because then once they eat that all up, if they don't have any other food, right, you could run into some trouble. They'll essentially starve. That's kind of why it's important to have that diversity going. So even within my crop species, I make sure to then have clover as well. So you have the tomatoes, you have the all the other crops, peppers and cucumbers, and then have a mat of clover in best case scenario growing there as well. I'd like to even get more diverse. I'm just not sure what else I can do. I might do maybe some buckwheat in the future or whatnot. So I'm still playing around with that, because you have to be able to get in and out of your garden. So you can't. It's a little more difficult to be super diverse with crop species. But those are some things to consider. So again, guys, I'll show you one more quick highlight. I mean, the mulch here. You got rye stem, you got hairy vetch chopped up, clovers chopped up. And that's going to start feeding microbes, and we're going to get some crop species in the ground tomorrow. One more quick look here. And obviously, you could also see my leaf matter that I had. It got caught up in the fence, and I blew that off with a blower so I could chop it up and again, get good coverage. So I'm really happy with how this worked, and I'm really happy with the coverage. I'm really happy with this just green mat that should work as a weed mat, and I'm looking forward to planting into it and keeping you guys updated. So be safe out there, guys. Again, if you enjoy this, subscribe, like, share, and build better soils. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I love doing this. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.